Hello and welcome to Smile Request channel. Today our movie is No Time to Die. The movie begins with a masked man walking on the snow. The masked man breaks into a house to kill a mother and her daughter as a revenge for his family. He manages to kill the mother, but when he attacks the daughter, she defends herself and kills him instead. Or that's what she thought. The man didn't die and now he is chasing her. She is running on an icy lake. The ice broke and now she is trapped inside of the lake. The masked man fires several bullets on the lake to capture the girl. This scene ends up as a memory from Madeline's past. In the next scene, Bond is driving a car with Madeline next to him. They arrive at a hotel where they see several burnt papers falling all around them. The bag holder informs them that this is a local ceremony where local people write their bad memories and lost hopes on a piece of paper. Then they burn those pieces of paper hoping to forget what's written on them. Madeline participates by burning a piece of paper with masked man written on it. Madeline and Bond agree to forget their past and begin a new life. The next day, Bond goes to visit a tomb which appears to be for Vesper Lind, the woman he wants to forget. Suddenly, the tomb explodes, and Bond starts chasing the guardian of the tomb to find what's going on. Before catching the guardian of the tomb, he finds several bullets fired on him. So he jumps away and tries to get out of this place. One of the attackers finds Bond and tries to kill him. While fighting, the attacker tells Bond that he is working for Bluefield and Madeline is the daughter of Spectre. Bond manages to get out of this place and he goes to Madeline. He attacks her as he thinks that she is the one who told Spectre about his location. She denies it and they take their car to get out of this place. While in the car, Madeline gets a call from Bluefield that her dad will be proud of her. Next, the attackers start firing bombs on their car and their car gets into an accident. However, Bond uses the machine gun of the car and fires a smoke bomb to get out of this place. Bond and Madeline goes to a train station where Madeline rides a train after Bond breaks up with her. 5 years later, we see a group of soldiers breaking into a building. Then we find out that this building is used for making biological weapons. We see a traitor doctor receiving a call to collect all the lab data on a flash drive, then swallow that flash drive. The traitor doctor guides the soldiers toward the place of the biological weapon. The soldiers take the weapon and the traitor doctor and get out of the building after bombing it. In the next scene, we see that Bond has been living in an isolated island for the past 5 years. We see Bond meeting with an old friend and his blonde fellow. Bond's old friend tries to convince him to bring him a package from Cuba. By a package, he means a defected agent. The defected agent was detected in Cuba, and he has information that Spectre organization are gathering there and maybe the defected agent is working for them. Bond refuses and goes to get his car, but his car is not working. A girl on a motorbike offers him a ride to his place. At Bond's place, the girl enters his bedroom and removes her wig. She admits to messing with his car, and she tells Bond to keep away from the defected agent she is chasing. Finally, she brags about being the new 007. Before leaving his place, she gives him a phone to contact the intelligence agency of England, the MI6. Bond reaches a conclusion that the defected agent is still working for the MI6. We see that Bluefield is kept in a psychiatric ward under the supervision of MI6. Bond informs his old friend that he is going to Cuba. In Cuba, Bond meets Paloma and she gives him a new suit to go to the Spectre party. Here we see the attacker and the traitor doctor preparing the biological weapon. It appears that the traitor doctor is changing the data needed for the biological weapon from behind of the attacker. The attacker implements the biological weapon into the fire control system of the party. Now we find that the traitor doctor is the defected agent Bond is searching for. Next, we see Bond and Paloma chasing the traitor doctor, but Bond finds himself in a Spectre trap where they fire the biological weapon on him. However, the weapon is not affecting Bond. The Spectre agents are the ones who are dying, as the traitor doctor has adjusted the weapon to attack Spectre agents instead of Bond. Bond leaves them and goes to find the traitor. He and Paloma manage to catch the traitor, but the new 007 snatches the traitor. Baluma finds a way to get the traitor back, and she guides Bond and the traitor to their runaway plane. The plane lands on a ship where Bond's old friend and his blonde fellow are waiting for the traitor doctor. Bond interrogates the traitor to find out which organization is he working for. The traitor answers by saying he is not working for MI6 or Spectre organization but for the person who will use the weapon in the right way. The blonde attacks Bond before he gets any more information from the traitor. He manages to lock Bond and his old friend in the basement of the ship after shooting Bond's old friend. The traitor tells the doctor that he is working for Safan and takes him with the weapon on the plane to get out of the ship after bombing it. Bond's old friend dies, but he manages to get out of the ship before it sinks. In the next scene, we see Bond getting his old car and going to MI6 office to meet its director. Bond admits that he is working for the CIA and tells the director that he knows that the MI6 are the one who developed the biological weapon. Bond negotiates guiding the MI6 to the place of the blonde and the traitor doctor in return for Bluefield's head. He mentions that he knows that Bluefield is directing the Spectre organization from his psychiatric ward. Bond's request is denied and he is kicked out of the office. The director orders the new 007 to check if Bluefield can contact anyone from his place. The director's secretary stops Bond before getting out of the building and offers her help. She takes him to Q, a computer genius that had worked on the biological weapon before. Q tells Bond that the biological weapon is made of nanorobots. The nanorobots are programmed with DNA, so they only target the person with the specific DNA in its program. Bond gives Q a flash drive he sneaks from the traitor and asks him to analyze the data on it. Finally, Bond asks the secretary and Q to help him meet Bluefield. They tell him that Madeleine is the only person who has access to Bluefield as she is his psychiatrist. In the next scene, we see Madeleine meeting a new patient in her clinic. The new patient gives her a box which contains the mask she wants to forget. He tells her that despite her dad had killed his family, he saved her life and she owes him. He threatens her. If she didn't wear the perfume he is giving to her and meet with the person he wants her to meet with, he is going to kill the people she loves. Next, we see Bond and the director of MI6 discussing their problems and solving them. Then Bond returns to be an MI6 agent. In the next scene, we see Q discussing the conclusion he reached from the data he has. He starts by saying that the biological weapon is not specific anymore, and the nanorobots are not just targeting the individual it carries their DNA but also their relatives, meaning that the biological weapon can be used for mass destruction. Next, we see Madeleine in a bathroom putting the perfume she got on her wrists. Then we see her meeting Bond in front of the psychiatric ward of Bluefield. This meeting was hard on both of them, especially Madeleine. Few seconds later, we see Madeleine screaming that she doesn't want to meet Bluefield and she wants to get out of the ward. However, Bond tries to stop her by holding her wrists. She begs him to leave her and tell him she wants to go to her house. Bond leaves her and goes to interrogate Bluefield. Bond asks Bluefield who is the person who wants to kill him and perhaps kill the whole world. He responds by saying that Madeleine is the one who carries the information he needs. Then we see him provoking Bond, which results in Bond trying to choke him. Yet Bond stops before killing him. Before Bond leaves the ward, he turns to look at Bluefield. To his surprise, Bluefield is dead, as he delivered the biological weapon from Madeleine's wrist to Bluefield. The MI6 starts a search for Madeleine. Bond remembers what Madeleine means when she says she wants to go to her house. So, he goes to her hiding place. There, he meets Madeleine, and he admits that he had always loved her. He says that he doesn't regret anything in his life more than leaving her at that train station. She responds by saying, although she hates his paranoid personality, she is still in love with him. Their conversation is interrupted by Madeleine's daughter. Madeleine introduces her daughter Mathilde. Then she says that Mathilde is not Bond's daughter. Here we see a short scene of Q finding the place of the blonde. Then the director of the MI6 orders the new 007 to go and get him. Next, we return to Bond asking Madeleine about the person who ordered her to kill Bluefield. She answers by saying that her dad was an assassin working for Bluefield. One day, Bluefield wanted an island that was used for growing and developing different poisons. Therefore, he ordered her dad to poison the family who owned that island. The whole family died except for a little boy named Safan. He survived but with severe side effects of the poison. Madeline says that Safan is the one who killed her mother and saved her as a child, and he is the one who ordered her to kill Bluefield. Madeline gives Bond a map from her dad's belongings, hoping it would guide him to Safan. Bond sends that map to Q to analyze it. In the next scene, we see Bond preparing breakfast for Mathilde. Then he receives a call from Q that he had found the place of the island. Therefore, Bond asks for a plane to take him there. Finally, Bond asks about the new 007 whether she found the blonde or not. Q responds by saying that she is chasing the blonde right now, and he sends Bond her location. To his surprise, she is near him, meaning that the blonde is coming for Madeline and Mathilde. Bond takes Madeline and Mathilde out of the place before the blonde reaches them. While in their car, they are followed by several other cars. Due to Bond's driving skills, he manages to destroy those cars, but the chase didn't stop. We see several cars, motorbikes, and a helicopter following them. To avoid them, Bond enters a forest to hide Mathilde and Madeline. Then he goes to set a trap for Safan's agents. The blonde falls into the trap, which results in him being thrown out of his car into the ground, not being able to get up, and his car hung by a tree less than 2 meters above his head. Bond pushes the car on his head as a revenge for his old friend. Safan finds the place where Madeline and Mathilde are hiding. Then he takes them on his helicopter to get out of this place. Bond sees the helicopter flying away, meaning that they captured Madeline and Mathilde. Out of sadness, he walks on a road where the new 007 finds him. She offers him a ride to the plane that Q has sent and tells him she is going to help him get Madeline back. In the plane, they get orders to kill Safan and the defected agent, and they get their weapons and tracking equipments. Then we see Safan telling Madeline that he had programmed some nanorobots with her DNA. Safan takes Mathilde away from her mother, and Madeline is captured by Safan agents and locked away. When the plane comes near the island, we see Q giving Bond a watch. This watch can shut down any nearby surveillance equipment. Then we see the new 007 and Bond getting out of the plane in a helicopter that can be used as a submarine to reach the island. On the island, we see the new 007 and Bond implanting bombs in the traitor's lab. Before they set the bombs off, Safan threatens Bond with his family and tell him, "Come and meet me." Safan knows that Mathilde is Bond's daughter. Next, we see one of Safan's agents, the attacker, forcing Madeline to drink a cup of tea. She throws it on his face and gets out of her holding room, locking him there. In the next scene, Bond meets Safan, his agents, and Mathilde. We see Safan saying that he is going to use his weapon to make the world a better place by killing those who are bad or redundant. Safan negotiates giving Mathilde to Bond in return for Bond removing his bombs and getting out of the island. Bond asks, "What about Madeline?" Safan answers, "Madeline stays." Bond refuses, so Safan threatens Bond by taking Mathilde on his lap. Bond tries to stop him from hurting her by kneeling down. While kneeling, he reaches for his pistol and starts shooting. Safan gets under the ground, but his agents die. Now, Madeline enters the room. Under the ground, Safan lets Mathilde go search for her stuffed bunny. Next, we see Q saying that he detected several boats going to the island with high speed. We see the workers of the island running from their places, and the new 007 killing the traitor. We see Mathilde finding Madeline and asking her for help in finding her stuffed bunny. We see 2 supersonic planes crossing Q's plane. Bond takes Mathilde and Madeline and tries to get them out of the island. He meets the new 007 on his way. Bond tells Q that the island is filled with the biological weapon, and the bombs he has are not enough to destroy all of them. Therefore, he will need Q to fire a missile on the island to destroy it. Bond puts the new 007, his daughter, and Madeline on a boat to get out of the island. Bond returns to set off his implanted bombs, killing several Safan agents. The remaining agents respond by throwing bombs on Bond. Bond manages to avoid them, then they start firing bullets on each other. Bond kills most of the agents. Then he gets into a fight with the attacker. Bond manages to kill him as well. Bond gets into the control room to remove the steel shield covering Safan's labs. Then he asks Q to fire the missiles. The missiles are fired from a Navy ship. While Bond is running to get out of the island, he finds his daughter's stuffed bunny. Surprisingly, the steel shields are returning to their places. Safan shoots Bond's leg and they get into a fight. Bond manages to break Safan's arm. Unfortunately, both of them are infected by the nanorobots programmed by Madeline's DNA, meaning that Madeline and Mathilde will die if Bond or Safan touch them. Bond kills Safan and goes to the control room. He removes the shields and locks the control room so no one can return them back. He climbs the stairs to the roof and asks Q to connect him with Madeline. He tells her she doesn't need to worry about Safan anymore. He apologizes for not being able to get out of the island. He tells her that her daughter is the most beautiful girl he has ever seen. She admits that Mathilde is his daughter. In the final scene, we see the missiles destroying the island, and all the main characters are sad for Bond's death. We see Madeline driving Bond's car with Mathilde next to her. The movie ends by Madeline telling Mathilde the story of her dad. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.